trying out.
So can everybody hear me? We have a computer right now, our second computer monitoring. So as soon as we see that we're good, we're gonna, okay. We're good. So can everybody hear me? All right. We have a computer right now, our second computer monitoring. So as soon as we see that, just making sure that our volume isn't feeding back. This is our first time doing this. This is actually the first of many webinars to come. The idea behind this is we want to educate pretty much everybody all at the same time. That's the idea. And if we get a little bit distracted, it's because we've got a million screens right now. Philip is going to be here monitoring any chats if anybody has questions. The idea is we want people to kind of feel free to, I guess, interrupt us. This is a learning session. So I don't think that this webinar is going to go longer than an hour. I honestly think we could get done before then. I know we all have things to do. So what I want to quickly just go through is the process, how this is going to work, and a couple of things to motivate you. And then we really wanted to kind of go over, some of you may not have seen the equipment email. I know there was some confusion about it, so we wanted to go over that. But what I want to do is I'm testing this screen share. So let's see if this works. June 5th webinar, learning the Modi platform. So right here, no, that's not it. Okay, so the schedule, first we're going to go over the equipment overview. Then we're going to talk about the Modi process. And then we're going to talk about a concept called StoryBrand. Some of you may be familiar with this, and we're going to go into that a little bit more in depth. So first, we're going to come back to our camera. So can you see us? We want to make sure that you guys can see everything.
We got one question. So do you want to hold those questions?
No, what's the question?
Later? So Identity Creative asked, in your example, you use a more expensive setup. What if I want to film outside and I only have the little portable tripod?
See, that's totally fine. Actually, what you'll see in the video is we have lights on there that we actually forgot to take those off when we were shooting the tutorial because we shot an indoor one and then we shot an outdoor one, but we feel like the outdoor one came out better. The lights completely weren't necessary for that shoot. The rig wasn't necessary for that shoot. The only thing that we used was, you saw that we used a shotgun mic. If any of you got a chance to watch the tutorial, if not, I would encourage you to go back and watch it. But the microphone that we used was called a shotgun mic, and that's this microphone right here. Now you'll see, I'll get into that rig in a second, but this microphone alone, if you get a shotgun mic that's adaptable for a smartphone, these will run starting at $70. So to find the fact that we found a rig that has everything plus lights plus a shotgun mic for 170 or 180 bucks, that's why we put that on there. And it's scalable too. So could you have done it with just a lavalier mic or even just the microphone off your phone? Not at the distance that we are filming at. Now you could see in the tutorial, Philip was actually standing probably, I don't know what, 15 feet away from the phone.
Yeah.
So maybe 15 feet away. And so with just the phone microphone, you're going to get a lot of sound interference. In fact, you could probably hear this in the tutorial, but the lady next door was mowing her lawn. So that kind of shows you how the shotgun mic works. It's very directional. Does that answer the question?
So they ask another question here. In your example, you mentioned that it will help to have a second person to start the video. If I'm by myself, can I start it and Modi will edit out the part where I'm turning it on?
Of course, yes. So that's a good question. We want people to feel free that even though it's based on a 30-second, the principle of having a 30-second video, we want people to feel comfortable to have a video that's longer than that, as long as the content is within 30 seconds, because we can trim the edges, no problem. You can upload a 45-second or 60-second video if you're getting ready, you're getting your shot, and you point it, and then you go in front of the camera, you record it, or you say it because it's going to be recording, and then you come back, and then you stop it, and there's not 30 seconds. That's totally fine. We're going to trim the beginning and the ends. It's just easier if you have someone to give you some feedback. Does that answer that question?
I think it did.
So the first thing that we recommend is shooting with a lavalier microphone. And this is great if you do a lot of stuff like if you're working out of a desk or out of an office that you don't have to get a very far distance away. If you can see here, this lavalier mic has a clip, and it clips right onto your lapel. Now, the idea with these is you want to clip it, and then I have a sweater, or if you have well, you're going to have a shirt on, but you want to run it down through your shirt and hide the cord. And then this plugs right into your phone. So the only thing with this distance is it's only good for about 6 feet. So that means if Philip is where the phone is and I'm right here, this is long enough for that. But other than that, it's not going to get you very far. So this was our starting suggestion. Basically, if you have, if you're in an area like a Starbucks and you wanted to film a Modi, and you want to position yourself right near a window, we're going to make more tutorials as we go along, how to shoot in a public place, how to shoot in. Do we have another question?
Yeah, just Pearson Stimulus Cutters was asking, is it going live through Vision Media Pro? I think they're trying to figure out where
the videos are going.
Where are they tuned in now?
Oh, no, this is through Vision Media Pro's YouTube channel, but tell them to check the email. It has the link. Okay. Because this is not public right now.
Okay.
So anyways, so if you're in a public, the reason why this would be good is if you're in a public place and you need to isolate your sound and you don't want all the ambient noise, this would be great for that. So I wanted to move from the lavalier or lapel microphone to the tripod selfie stick. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. This right here, it's great. One of the things we created an equipment tutorial that we're going to talk about. But one of the things is I wanted to be able to kind of go over this equipment and have you guys feel free to ask questions. So Philip's going to monitor the question board while I go through this. If you have a question about the lapel mic, please feel free to ask it. Okay, so with this is great for tabletop. It stands about, when you stand up all the way, it stands about 54 inches. The reason why I say this is good for tabletop is if you, as you extend it, so you open it up by, you wrench it open, and then you kind of extend it out like this, and then you wrench it like that. And then you can kind of see how tall this is. So it's about 54 inches, and this has a cell phone clamp for your smartphone, and this thing goes up. This thing comes out pretty far. So this is a great little tool if, like what Identity Creative was asking earlier, if you just have your smartphone and this, you should be fine. But now here's the problem. As this extends, I'm going to collapse this again, you can see that the legs remain at the bottom. If you've seen any tripod, like any professional tripod, the legs extend out from underneath where the camera is. So as this goes up, the center of gravity goes further away from the base, making it more unstable. So if you did go with the professional rig, the $180 professional rig, I actually did a test and I put that on top of here and then extended all the way up. It's teetering. It's not very stable. So I would not recommend that. That's where you put the additional tripod in there. And I'm going to show that to you in a second. One nice thing about this is it does have tripod threading, the standard tripod threading that you'll see on just about, or on literally every camera. It looks like a little screw. This screw thread right there is a universal, so every single camera is going to have that. So the nice thing about this is you can make it like at a 90-degree angle, and there's some applications for that we could talk about, but I don't really want to spend too much time on that unless somebody has a question. So then lastly, it's also put out there as a good selfie stick. Now, right here, my only problem with this as a selfie stick, you can use it, but you see here how my hand grips where the thumb, the picture thing is. It doesn't, I don't know if you can see this. I don't really have a whole lot of area to hold on to it. So that's the only downside if you want to take pictures. But one thing I do love about this, as the question was asked earlier, if you're by yourself, this comes with a little remote so you can take a picture. Now, it won't start a video, but you can at least take a picture. So if you're by yourself, you can get your frame and then you take a picture and then you go back, check your frame. Then, you can make your adjustments however you want. And this pairs with your Bluetooth. Now, if you guys want a tutorial for how to pair this with your phone, we can make one. But I literally turned it on, and I went to my phone's Bluetooth settings, turned on my Bluetooth, and instantly it showed up. So I don't think that should be an issue, but if anybody does have an issue, also feel free that you see there's a phone number in there. You can call that number if you have any questions. So I'm going to move on from this tripod. Are there any questions right now?
Not at the moment.
So everybody's good. Okay.
So good.
Is that a question?
Yeah, he's still trying to.
So problems connecting.
Did you send one to
It's in there.
Joe, like JP? Okay.
Yeah, you can text them the link. So now what I want to get into is we have our next rig. Yeah, you can go ahead and text them that. Our next, as we sent in the email, you'll see there's a phone ring light, and the reason why we recommend a ring light is because as it goes around the lens, but it doesn't send out one beam that's really bright from the phone's LED. It sends a series of more dim lights from there's a ring, and I've got an example here. So we actually don't have the exact ring light on hand, but we have this is the same concept. You can see here what it does is oh, that's actually really bright. I apologize. You can, well, it's basically, it emits a softer light than the type of light that your phone's going to emit. So it's more, it creates a more ambient glow, which is kind of what you want to achieve. So now I want to get into the more professional stuff, which I'll start with this rig. This rig, we've kind of made our own custom set for this. We actually did it with these lights, and we found that these lights, if you have it mounted as it shows in the picture, or as you would see that we were having it. Do we have a question? Oh, I saw.
Yeah. What is the remote called? Also, was it in the equipment list or sold separately?
No, the remote with the tripod selfie stick, the remote comes with the selfie stick. It's not a separate purchase.
And do they need the light with the rig? Do you recommend getting the light?
So this ring light is actually a ring light that we have for our own professional camera equipment. If anybody's interested in this ring light, it's going to run you a little bit more. But if you are interested in going more professional, the ring light that's posted in the equipment list is more for it's not going to work with this because it clips directly to the cell phone. I hope that answers that question. But if we have more questions, feel free to ask. So back to what I was saying about the lights here. The way this is set up is with this light here and then the light on the other side. We found that setting up with just these two lights looked like almost like a ransom video. It was just all this intense brightness coming at somebody's face. So one of the reasons why we posted this as a suggestion was because, or this entire rig as a suggestion, was because it comes with the shotgun mic, which is like a $70 value. And then it comes with two lights that you can set on different spots. One thing that's great about these lights is they have little tripod screws. So as I said earlier with the other tripod, that's a universal screw. It's if for anyone who wants to get technical, if you wanted to find it at a hardware store, it's a 1/4 inch 20. That's the thread size. But these lights, so what you could do is you could set one light over here, set the other light over here, and kind of project light so it's not all coming straight from the camera. So that rig, so it comes with the two lights, a shotgun mic, and this entire rig. How are we doing on time, by the way? It's 5:45. All right, I'll wrap this rig up in a second. But basically the way how this thing clamps is you've got your phone clamp here. I don't know if you can see this phone clamp. Clips in there. And then you have your phone that clips right into here, and you have a little mount that kind of snugs it right in place. Another thing that I love about this rig is it has what's called a shoe mount. A shoe mount is, you'll see the mount on top of a camera. It's a great place to insert, like, well, you can see right here, this right here, that would go. So you could mount that on here. You'll see this microphone has the same mount. This is what's known as a shoe mount. So the top rail and the bottom rail it's all 100% shoe mount, which is, in my opinion, awesome because it's extremely versatile. And then you'll see here every single screw that comes with it to mount any of these brackets. These all have 1/4 inch 20 thread sizes. So you can see how this is extremely scalable.
So we got a question about the rig.
Yes.
Identity Creative asks, so we can buy that unit you're holding with the lights for $180, and where do we buy it?
It's on the equipment list.
So in the equipment email, there should be a link.
Yeah.
Attached to that, right?
Yeah,
so that should take you to Amazon or wherever.
Those links are all hyperlinks so that you can click on it and it'll take you right to that page.
So that's kind of why we compiled those emails, so you don't have to go out and search through a bunch of gear because there's so much out there.
Oh my word, yeah. We've done a lot of research for this.
How many hours do you think we put into
just finding the equipment?
Yeah.
I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe six or 7 hours trying to find the best. I mean, if you try to Google, did we get another question?
Cool. Sounds like a smart way to go.
Okay. No, it's going to save you a ton of time. So I'm going to move on from the phone rig to the next thing in there, which was a wireless microphone system. Now, this is also getting close to $200. Now, the reason why we also recommended this is because somebody had a good question. They said, now, if my phone, if I have a shotgun mic, if I want to be like 20 yards away, like standing on a bridge or something like that, am I going to be able to be heard by the microphone and you're not? And you can't get an extension cord because that's just absolutely ridiculous. Do you have another question?
Yeah. Joseph Pearson asked, what's the format for the webinar? I have a lot of questions, but don't want to jump ahead.
Oh, okay. So basically, we are going to go, we're talking about the equipment right now, and all this is going to be recorded so that you can actually go back and watch this. And then you have, after this, we're going to go into the Modi process and how the whole thing's going to work. And then we're going to talk about, basically, we're just going to give you some training on the importance of video and how to make the most effective video. So this right here, maybe nobody's even interested in this, but it's a microphone. There's a transmitter and a receiver. And I did a test with this. I had one inside the office, and the other one I actually went far outside the office, out to the parking lot to my car, and I could still hear it. One thing that you have to get with this that was actually, we forgot to post in the equipment email, but if you are interested in this wireless microphone receiver on Amazon, it'll say a recommendation. So you know how when you purchase something on Amazon, it has a little plus, like we also recommend that you buy this. You have to buy this because I didn't see that the first time. This is basically, it converts this microphone so that it can, or it adapts it to a smartphone. So I hope that makes sense. Another thing that's great about this is it also comes with another lavalier mic. And then it also comes with this, which I think this is very interesting. I don't know what my opinion about this is. This right here is called a windsock, and it's for a lapel microphone. But I tested this out on a fan, which is about 30 to 40 miles an hour in a really like confined area, and it was barely getting any wind interference. So that to me is extremely impressive. But it looks like you have a huge mouse right here. So
it's maybe hideable as well.
There may be a way to hide it, yeah. So I just wanted to let you guys know this is more expensive. This will run you, I think it's $180. Could be 190, but it's close to $200. But I think it's well worth it if you're going to get really serious about this. And another thing that's great, if anybody is curious, this also has on the back, again, 1/4 inch 20 thread size. So this you can actually mount on top of your phone rig. Do you mind handing me the rig there for a second, Philip?
Yep. And then just after that, there's another question about
you could like mount it like this or something like that. So anyways, all right, you can go ahead and set that back.
Okay.
What's the question?
Just why would we need that wireless capability?
If you want to be really far away from your camera, that's the only purpose.
There's different there's different applications to that. Say like, didn't somebody like offer an example about being on a bridge and he wanted to record something?
Yeah, somebody asked me that, and they said that I wanted to be standing far away, and I said, well, you can get a wireless microphone receiver. So instead of telling you guys to go on your own wild goose chase to find a good wireless microphone receiver, which I went on the goose chase for you guys. You're welcome. This is what I would recommend because it's in a good price range, but it's not terrible quality. So it's a good balance. Does that make sense? I didn't want to make you guys go and buy the most expensive stuff, but I also, if you were interested, didn't want you to get you a piece of garbage. It's not going to work for you. All right. So with that, we have one more thing we want to talk about, and this is the bigger tripod. You can see right here, these legs, all three of these expand out, giving it a total height of, I think, 62 inches, but I could be wrong about that. This tripod is absolutely phenomenal. It's super lightweight, but it's extremely durable. This tripod has actually been around the world, and this thing performs amazingly. It's got right here, it's got what's called a ball and socket tripod head. So you can, you know, flip it around. You could do a 90-degree angle. You could turn this however you want. But this thing is absolutely great if you are going to get more serious. For those of you who are able to watch the tutorial, you'll see that Philip was using something that had wheels that was moving sideways. That's called a slider. I wanted to ask if anybody would be interested. I felt like that was really professional, but if anybody's interested, that's about an $80 slider. If anybody, would anybody want us to send out another updated equipment email with that?
Send out a thumbs up if you.
Yeah, just let us know if you saw the tutorial with the slider. The slider achieves a real cinematic movement, so that's really cool, and that mounts right on top of here. So you would take this, you could take this tripod head off, this thing unscrews, and you could mount like a slider. Yeah. You could mount more equipment on there. I've actually, and just to give you an idea of how much weight this thing can hold, I actually had a, do we have a yes?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Joe thinks that'd be cool.
One thing about this tripod is it holds a lot of weight. There was one time I had what's called a jib, and a jib is it basically looks like a huge catapult with counterweight so that the camera can move on a vertical path up and down, but at a range of about 12 feet. And it was a ton of weight, and this little dinky tripod was holding the weight up. So this thing is great, and it's under $100 too. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. Any question?
Yeah, is that the tripod we would need for the rig with lights and boom mic?
I would recommend it. The selfie stick tripod is if you're not going to get too serious about it, but you just kind of want something that can hold your phone, that's better than setting it on a table. But yeah, I would recommend this tripod. All right, so that's it for the equipment. Do we have any questions before we move on? Wait, I know there's a bit of a lag, so
5-second delay. Is it a 5-second or on a 5-second?
Yeah, it's.
So we'll wait to see what comes.
If we get a no, we'll just move on. All right. Well, I'm assuming there's no questions, so we're gonna go ahead and
keep on moving.
Keep on keeping on. What is it? Questions? Okay. No questions. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over to the PowerPoint slide, and I'm just going to kind of roll through this. So it's right now it's 5:52. So we're doing good. If anybody has to leave or has any questions, don't worry about it. Or if you have to leave, don't worry about it because it's all going to be recorded and we're going to post it. All right. Here we go. Moving on to the PowerPoint. Okay. So Modi, I like to describe Modi as the video equivalent of a CPA. You know how when you get when it's tax season and you get your CPA, they said, here's where I need you to sign. They send you these documents, and there's like millions of pages of confusion, and so easy because you just got to sign here, 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 and there. That's what we've done for you. We basically take all the complicated information, all the complicated materials involved in making a movie, and we literally are just going to tell you absolutely what you need to know. You guys are all professionals in your industry. And if we had to hire any of you for a job, we would expect that you wouldn't throw the book at us. So that's kind of the idea behind this webinar. And that's why I think I can cover all this in less than an hour. So production process, you are the director. I've put a director's chair there for emphasis. And I want to go over this. So in the tutorial, we mentioned this, but I wanted to just kind of stress it again. Basically, when you're making a video, there are three parts. There's the pre-production, there's the production, and the post-production. So the pre-production is basically where you get out a notebook, you write out your ideas, you write out what you want to say, and you it's like you're planning. So that's when we recommend that you try and time it out to see if you can say everything that you want to say in 30 seconds. And once you're good with that, then you jump down to production. I'm not going to read this word for word because that's why it's written out. Anyway, so when you're doing the production, there's several things that you want to look into. You want to make sure that your lighting is good. If you are in an area, like if you're shooting in the sun and the sun is directly on your face, it can run the risk of blowing out the image. Now, smartphones are smart and they can usually adapt to the setting, but there's just certain things that you kind of want to look for. It's better to shoot in a shady area than to shoot in the sun. And there are reasons behind that I don't necessarily have to get into. If you do want a more in-depth tutorial, and you would want that, we can put one together, and that's something that we're planning on doing. But like I said, you guys are professionals in your industry, and so we respect your time there. So we don't want to take too much of your time. One thing that I did put in here, it's don't underestimate the time that it's going to take to film this. So many people think, I can't tell you. In fact, every single shoot that we go on, and I'm not exaggerating, every single shoot, everybody says, wow, I didn't realize how long it takes to film a video. And yeah, we're actually faster than most people because we don't have huge crews that we have to lug around. But with you're going to be setting up your phone, but you want to put a little bit of time into making sure that your shot is good. And then the beauty of Modi is the post-production. So there, you have all seen, hopefully you've all seen the welcome video. There's a little part where he threw in there a screen record of what it looks like when we edit one of these things, but we sped it up, of course. And you could see in there how complicated this looks. We're doing this to take it off of your shoulders. Another thing is those softwares that we use, they're a subscription based. So if you actually wanted to get one of those softwares, you would have to use it every single day in order for it to make sense for you to even have it. So we're taking that expense off of your shoulders as well. Now, the only thing is, I'm going to say this again and again, you are the director. So I'm going to go over a little form that when you upload your content, there's a little form that you're going to look at what music you have to pick from, and you're going to look at the graphics that you get to choose. So this is going to provide even more value to you. So once you complete the form, we're going to have all of the direction from you, the director, to edit this specifically to your requests. So we are going to be using Dropbox. Now, you guys are the beta test group. So going forward, Dropbox is not the permanent solution. It is the only one that makes sense right now that will work with your smartphone. So basically, the reason why I chose Dropbox is because it integrates extremely well with our system, and it's a mobile app that I use all the time that I find extremely easy. If you don't have a Dropbox account, in fact, I think you actually have to have a Dropbox account in order for this to work, but it's free. Go ahead and set up a Dropbox account. Don't worry about the limits on your uploads. What I've done is I've created a way to have it so that you guys can have unlimited uploads, but you don't need any more than the free, which is I think 2 gigabytes. And then going forward, our goal with Modi is to create an actual app that you can download from the App Store, and it will work, and it will all be in one spot. So that's your goal. You guys are going to watch this grow, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys being willing to start this process with us. We're very excited. So what you're going to do is when you get so this is the Modi process from beginning to end. So what you're going to do is you're going to receive an email that's going to be specific to every single one of you. I will not send out a generic email. It will be specific. And you'll see on the left-hand side right here, you see upload files via folder invite. Now, a folder invite is a way for me to bypass the restrictions of you having a free account and will allow you to upload more than 2 gigabytes worth of data. You're going to get it like this. It's going to show your name and then your business name. And you click choose. Well, I took these screenshots from my computer. If it's on your smartphone, it's going to give you an option to upload from your camera settings. If you're on it works for both Apple and Android. Let's just say that. So now here's the cool thing. Now that I've given you a folder invite, you can actually go, and I'm also going to give you your folder. It's going to have the client name and the business name. Here's where your final video is going to be. And when you upload all of your content, you can actually come to this folder and see everything that you uploaded. Now, here's what I need to stress. If you go into your Dropbox app and you upload your content to here, you may not have an issue the first time, but once you exceed 2 GB with video is going to exceed extremely quickly, you're going to have issues. And that's one of the reasons why Dropbox is not scalable, but it'll work for now. So unless you're somebody who has an account that gives you more than 2 GB of information, this isn't going to be an issue. But for those of you, I don't want everyone to have to go buy additional storage for Dropbox. So just don't upload your footage to here. Upload it via the folder invite. So does everybody understand that? I really hope that I can stress that that there's no confusion there. Because if there is confusion, then that's going to be something maybe down the road that can be more difficult. So, all right, if anybody has any questions about that, I can come back and explain that a little bit more in detail. All right, so when you have your Dropbox app, what we're going to do is we're going to share via email. We're going to share all of this content with you, but the idea, oops, didn't mean to click that. That I'm going to go to in a second, but that's the form that we're going to fill out. So basically, let me full screen this. You have your music folder and your graphics folder. Now, your music folder, I'm going to go ahead and click on this. If you're on mobile, which is the idea, you're going to be on your phone, you'll see a list of songs right here. We've broken it down into 6 categories. We have adventure, and you'll see there's 1, 2, and 3. Calm, 1, 2, 3. Cinematic. Then we have corporate. Then we have fun, and then we have upbeat. So these cover a very wide spectrum of songs. What we didn't want to do was overload you with hundreds and hundreds of song choices. And these are all tailored to exactly 30 seconds. So you could go through here and you could listen to these. And I'm going to mention why it says 1, 2, and 3 in a second as I get into the form. But one thing that we've done is each month, what we're going to do is we're going to cycle these out. So what was at position 1? So let's say it's June. So let's say come July, now the song that was in the position 1 is going to be moved to position 2. The song that was in position 2 is going to be moved to position 3. And the song that was in position 3 is going to be then just kind of in the queue until it comes back around. So every single month, we're going to give you a new song in every single category. And seeing as you have 2 30-second videos a month, I feel like this gives you a very, very wide selection when it comes to how many videos you guys are going to be creating. So that's your shared music folder. Now I'm going to come back to the shared graphics folder. And this is where I think you guys are going to get super excited. So right here, we've created 4 different graphic styles. One's cinematic, one is clean, then we have dynamic and modern. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to just click on this, and you're going to see as I click here, you can see all the different, these are graphics and we're going to give you slots to fill in your text, and you can see all of these different graphics. Now, as you see here, there are 14 different of this style, which is cinematic. Then I'm going to go here. Let's go clean. These are more, let's say, more of a corporate feel. And you can kind of see how this is going to work. And you're going to fill in this text, and we're going to plug it all in for you. So you're going to have all this, overlaying video, or you could have it, specify, I don't want this to overlay the video. I want this to just overlay, a title screen, or just like a blank background like this. All of that is up to you in the direction process. Do you have a question?
Nope, we're all set.
Okay. And dynamic, this one's really fun. If you're looking to make more of a fun, kind of a bouncy feel, this I think you guys will really think is cool. All this text is something that you guys are going to be plugging in yourself, and then we just integrate it all in the software. What did it say?
Can we change?
Oh, the font?
No, he said I got a call just as you started. Bummer. So I told him he can good to have him on board. Just don't do that again.
Okay. We try to keep things lighthearted. Hopefully you guys don't mind. And then this last one is modern. You'll see this is the style that we put in our last 2 modis. And so you can kind of get an idea if you look here. Now, so that is the graphics. So I hope that if that doesn't get you excited, then I guess we'll just wait till your video comes back for you to get really excited. Okay, so now
we have a question.
Yes.
Can we change the case and style of the font?
That I will show you right here. That's a good question.
Coming up.
So right here we have our form. So here in your form you have what is the username. We need this so that because as these forms come into our database, we're gonna need to know who put it. So that's absolutely required. What is your Modi title? And that is for your reference. That's not actually going to show up in the video. That's just so that when we send it to you, you'll see, oh, this is my video. This is, the one, because as you build, months and months go by, you're going to have multiple videos. And so that's why you're going to want to put in your titles for your organization and to keep you from getting confused. Write a word that sums up this story. This kind of helps us, you as the director. If you make a video that's about kids who don't have clean drinking water in Africa, maybe a good word would be sobering, not exciting. That was autofill from the last video that we made. Sobering. Let's say you have content that's more I don't know, informational. You could say informational, whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be one word. It's more of like a guide. Which type of song helps best tell the story? Now, this is where I'm going to go to, because here you can see adventure, fun, corporate, upbeat, calm, and cinematic. These are our 6 different categories. And also remember, you guys are the beta test. So if you feel like there's a category that's missing, that you guys feel like I feel like I'm getting shortchanged here. This it's not. I don't like any of these songs. Please let us know if you don't like any of the song selection. Then we'll work with you. We want to make sure that we figure all these kinks out. So what you do is you would pick a song. Let's say I like the upbeat number 2. You're going to go, which song number do you prefer? 1, 2, or 3? I said number 2, so we're going to go with that one. Now, which type of graphic fits the story? Right here, you see cinematic, clean, dynamic, and modern. Now, there's a number right here. Cinematic, 14, clean, 17, dynamic, 18, modern, 12. What that basically means is in those preset packs, there are 14 individual different styles. And what you can do is you can, if you want to take this on yourself, you can actually go. Do we have a question?
What if we didn't want any music? Is that possible?
Yes. If you don't want any music, then you just leave it blank. And you would leave this blank. Now, what I would ask is if you don't want a music selection, right down here in the comments, I would maybe specify that just so that we don't see that and think, oh, is this a mistake? So yeah, good question though. So back to the graphics. If you want, you can say, like, let's say you're looking at the clean titles, you liked, title number 8. You can specify, I liked all my title. I would like all my titles as title number 8. And the way how you would do that is you would count. What we're going to do is we're kind of try and make that a little bit more clear going forward. But that's not something that I think anybody's really going to want to specify because they're all pretty much the same style. I just want to leave that open. So what is the name card? This is whoever's on screen. If you do have somebody on screen, maybe you don't. Maybe you're just talking about a service or a product, and you don't necessarily have to have somebody on screen. You can just leave it blank. Or you can use this as an extra title card. Right here, we've given you 4 title cards, limited to 35 characters. This will allow you to say just a brief couple words to express a point. And the reason why I've limited it is because if you notice on social media and all these other channels, you don't have a whole lot of time to capture your audience's attention.
Less is more.
Less is more. You want to keep it in their face, and you want it to be quick. And then right here is you upload your logo. This is for first-time users. As you do this, you don't need to upload your logo every single time, just the first time. What this allows us to do is it allows us to first, we can put your logo in there, and you'll see, I say here, the higher resolution, the better. What this will also show us is what the colors are for your business. So then what we do is we look at your colors. So if you looked at the graphics and you were concerned, well, what if those aren't my colors? Well, that's okay. What we do is we look at the colors based on your logo. If that doesn't work for people, then that's fine. Just let us know that in the comments. Okay, so that's it for the form. Once you're done with that, you click submit. Now, let's come back here. Are there any questions so far?
So far, so good.
So it's 6:10. I want to make sure If you guys, if we run past 6:30 and people have to leave, that's totally fine. This is going to be recorded. So, all right. So once the whole thing is done, you're going to go into your final video folder. And this is where all of your videos are going to be stored. Now, what I would recommend is, I'm stressing this. When you go into your final video folder, you're going to see that Dropbox has options to share, post to Twitter, post to Facebook, post to all these different areas. Don't post from Dropbox. And here's the reason why. If you go into the final video folder and say, I love the video, I'm so excited, I'm going to post it right away. What's going to happen is, if let's say you put it on Facebook, people are going to be linked into Dropbox to view it from Dropbox's video player. Don't do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to download it onto your phone and then upload it. So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You'll see here, I've also put the Modi form, the Modi video form. I've put this form, I'm going to put this in emails. I'm going to put it, the link is going to be very, pretty easily accessible. As we perfect it, our goal is to get an app that as you upload the content, then you answer the questions, and it's just going to be one solid process. But for now, this is the best that we have. So do you have a question? Is there a Modi watermark in the video? No, there's not going to be a Modi watermark in the video. And the reason why is because I think that as we go forward, I don't think that it's going to serve you, the client, our client, well to have your video with a logo, somebody else's logo on there. As a video professional, I've seen video companies do that, put their logo in the video. I think that that's kind of, I don't think that that's important. In fact, I think in some cases it looks bad, because then it confuses the viewer. I literally had somebody come to me and say, this video company put their logo at the forefront of the video, so people watch my video thinking they're watching, looking at somebody else's company. So that I don't want to confuse people. So I'm just going to give it the content to you guys. Now, one thing we do want to write up in the fine print, this is just one other thing that we have to do, is we want to come with an agreement, if you guys don't mind, if as we go forward and as this builds, we want to be able to showcase videos that you guys have made. So we're totally throwing around the idea, but we would like to be able to share the rights to all of the content that you guys have through Modi. And that way, what that allows us to do is just use it for our own advertisement purposes. That's usually pretty standard, but I just kind of wanted to talk about that real quick. What is the best story? Now we're getting into storytelling. Here we go. So the best story is the one that gets the emotion. Your story may invoke the most emotion. When I say your story, I should stress your story, but more than likely your customers will. So this is a very new concept. The concept of story brand. So here we go. I'm going to switch the camera back. I want to show you guys this book. So this right here is called Your Story Brand. I know it's overly exposed. Your Story Brand, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. If you guys haven't read this book or even heard of it, I highly recommend you get it on Amazon. What that book talks about, and I'm going to come back here to the screen share, is it's a revolutionary idea. In my opinion, I think it's revolutionary because it kind of changes people's perspective. The idea is your customer is actually concerned first and foremost about their own survival, not yours. So a lot of times people say, I just want to tell my story. Now, if your story is compelling and can invoke emotion, go for it. Some people may have, I know Phillips showed me some of the videos that he's made, missions work, that evokes emotion. That's a good story. But if I tell somebody, Vision Media Pro was built and talk about myself, what I'm going to do is I'm not contributing to their survival. So all of a sudden, they start to tune me out, whether or not they actually even realize it. The idea is to capture their attention, get them emotionally involved. Here's the key. Oops. All right. Story brand. Don't be confused by all the text here. So part of every story has a hero. And I'm going to read through this. I hope you guys don't mind me reading word for word. Every story has this character. The hero has to overcome the obstacles and challenges to achieve the goal. I think a perfect example here is Luke Skywalker. The guide is the character who has the answers and helps to solve the problems of the hero. So we would say Luke Skywalker is the hero. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the guide. This character is in the position of strength and is often the role that you want to play. Then we have the audience. The audience watches as the hero overcomes the challenges and obstacles that they have. The audience wants to see the hero win, but ultimately the audience wants to be the hero themselves. So here's what so many businesses fail. This is where they fall short, is they tell their story and they think that the audience is going to listen, but a lot of times they don't, because the audience is not concerned about the survival of you, the hero. What you need to do is you need to say, I am the guide in this story. And if you're providing a good or a service, the person that I'm trying to help, this person, they are the hero of their story. And so that way, what it allows you to do is it allows you to structure your Modi and to direct it in a way that says, you know what, I am helping you, using words like help and using words like we're going to help you, overcome your, challenges and just things like that. These are, if you want more detail, I'm not going to, give more detail about this story concept. If you want to, I highly recommend you get this book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. And then what happens is if you are the guide, your customer is the hero, guess who the audience is? The audience is all of their friends and families and acquaintances that have seen them overcome the struggle. They become your new customer. So it's word of mouth. So that's the idea, is we want to help. So in this instance, Modi and Vision Media Pro, we are the guide to you, and your story is you want your businesses to thrive. Do we have a question?
Yeah. Can we get our own logo animated and incorporated into the Modi? Would that be an additional charge?
We can talk about logo animation, but that as we build Modi, we want to focus on scalability and animating individual logos. If people are interested in that, we can do it. It's just going to be at this point, it's going to be an additional charge. It's not going to be able to be included. Now, one thing we've talked about is creating different subscription packages. Like this is the standard subscription package. We want to create like a mid-range where you get stuff like that, and then another one which is pro level, which gives you more video length, gives you more video content, different things like that. So if people are interested in that, then we can build on that more. So going back to the story brand, I don't want to get too much more into this, but if you're confused at all, that's, you can give us a call. We want to help you guys understand this concept. But I think the best way for you to understand it is to actually, learn more about this concept. And there's videos on YouTube. Maybe you can find the audiobook on Audible, or buy the book on Amazon. So I'm going to move ahead. So in your story, as you make your Modi, you want to identify who is the hero. So for us at Vision Media Pro, you, our beta test group, you are the hero. And we are trying to take the position of the guide. Who is the audience? The audience now becomes your customer base. So to you, it would be, you are the guide, your customer base is the hero, and the audience is their friends and family. And then identify what is the problem. If you identify something that isn't a pain point for people, and I think pretty much everybody knows this, you want to address what's causing the most pain. Now I'm going to move ahead from this. So what can Modi do for you? And this is actually, we're wrapping it up right here. What can Modi do for you? Be specific. Specificity is key. So if you set a goal as, okay, I am signing up with this Modi subscription because I want to have better video content. I don't think that's a good goal, because it's not specific, and it's not what you would consider a SMART goal, SMART. If you want to know more about SMART goals, you can look it up. But the idea is you want to have goals that challenge you, that stretch you, but that are measurable. So our goal is, we are very inspired people, that we want to inspire you and motivate you. And so we're going to be posting our notifications that we call them notifications. It's a notification that will motivate you if you haven't been active with your Moti subscription, to get active with it. Philip and I were just talking as we were setting up the webinar here. What you want to share? What you were talking about, the concept of consistency and keeping content.
Yeah. Well, one thing Moti's offering is consistent video marketing, which you can pay a company to come in multiple times and you spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but in the end, you're not offering consistency. You're not offering a consistent story of what your services are, whatever those may be. And that's what an audience wants to see. That's how a YouTube channel grows to be millions of subscribers, is consistency, consistent uploads. And so that's where we want to take you with Moti. And one thing to keep in mind as well is I've personally had a lot of people tell me, Philip, you have a knack for this videography. You shoot great footage, and they see my stuff and they're like, that's great. But I kind of realized though that those compliments came through me actually just learning. It wasn't necessarily that I had just this incredible talent. It was something that I was interested in, that I was passionate about. And so you can go on YouTube and look up anything like mobile cinematography 101, and you can learn more and more about how to shoot good footage with your phone. And we want to help do that to some degree. But if you want to take it to the next level and have your Motis be top quality, you really have to put in the time and learn. And we're taking a lot of the responsibility of the complicated part off of your shoulders with editing and whatnot. But I think that just having a passion to learn is going to take your Moti to the next level.
Yeah, there's a saying, I say this all the time: when you stop learning, you stop earning. So if you want to keep earning, keep learning. Yeah. So like there's nothing wrong with stretching your skills with video, and that's the idea, is we want you to. All right, now I'm going to come back here to finish up the PowerPoint. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. Oh, that's it. Questions.
So we're at the end here.
This is it. Now, what I did do was I have an additional slide because some people had questions about making payments. Does anybody want me to go over that, how to make a payment?
We sent out a few emails that talk about that as well.
Yeah.
So we'll just give you some time here.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay, so if it seems like we're very slow to respond, that's why. One thing Philip and I we wanted to do was as we go forward, we want to make more tutorials on different settings for a different oh, we got a question here.
Did you talk about the turnaround time for editing?
So good question. Let
me take it back to.
Okay, I will switch it back to the screen here. So the turnaround, we initially were thinking shouldn't be a very long turnaround, because we've designed this system in a way where for us it's, and I'm not trying to make it seem like we're not putting work. I mean, we were putting tons of hours into building this thing. But what we're building it with the idea in mind that we can turn it around in a very quick time. So just to give you an example, both of the Motis that we've created, that we've shown as examples, have taken us about, I think combined, maybe an hour and an hour and a half to edit both of them. And so since it's very quick editing time, the reason why it's so quick is because you're shooting the footage, you're picking the song, you're picking the or not song, I guess if you don't want a song, you're picking your graphic style, and there's all these different things that you are doing yourself, which is keeping the cost low. That's why it's a low, so it's $100 a month, and so it may seem like you're getting. I want you to feel like you're getting a lot, because you are, because there's like a what I would consider a barrier to entry to making a DIY. Oh, I think we got another question. Well, I'll finish this first. There's a barrier to entry with DIY video, and that's the editing process. We talked about that in the welcome video. So because this is what we do professionally, we are now making it more available. So our turnaround, I initially was telling people a 24-hour turnaround, but realistically, we have other jobs running, so that's it's more like I would say
it could get to that point
at the most 3 days. I don't see why it would take any longer than that. And our hope is that would be 24 hours, but I got to be careful that I don't say anything that's promissory. So
yeah. And is Modi live? When can we start? So
we're gonna start right now. So the idea is, as soon as this is over, this webinar, we're gonna send out an email, and this is, like I said, the individual email. It's going to show you where you upload your files. It's gonna introduce you to your Dropbox folder, which you can. I'm giving you full editing of your personal Dropbox folder. So if you do have an account that gives you more, you can use it for tons of things.
I would add Modi is live just to the beta testers, just to you guys.
Yeah. So, but we do want to say this though. June is our beta test month. And I wanted to say that if you have other people that you think would benefit from this, I know already someone was talking to me today. They said that they know somebody who they were wondering if they could tell them about it so that they could sign up. I would say this, tell them July we'll be ready for more people. That way we can iron out all the kinks. There's still a lot that we don't know. There may be potential issues. So this is what the beta testing is for. Did that fully answer the question? I feel like it didn't. I felt like there was more that it was, when can we start? So yeah, like I'm gonna send you that email, and you got your smartphone. So yeah, watch a tutorial, and there's other tutorials online too. So maybe watch some of those tutorials. Yeah, we'll get you all that as soon as the webinar is over.
So there's another question from Identity Creative. If we take extra footage, like you did an example with pine tree blasting with the text, would we need to tell you what and where to put it in the video?
Good question. So these are all things that I'm happy people are asking, because I wanted to include these, but for time's sake, I didn't necessarily know if I had time to. So basically, let me jump back here into the screen share so that I can kind of come back right here. Right here. So here's the invitation. When you upload your files to here, you are going to see all of the uploaded content here. As I stressed earlier, do not upload to this folder unless you have, because it's going to use up your own personal Dropbox gigabytes. I don't want to do that. So what you can do is you can open this folder and you can rename your files in the order in which you want them to appear. Another idea is you could go into the Modi form. You come down to the comment section and say, there's a shot where I took that there was a like a squirrel outside. It looked really cute or something. And you can, just say whatever you want. There's no limit on how much you can put in here. This is your opportunity to really have the director's hat. But but make it clear and understandable. Don't just write gibberish. Kind of hope that answers that question. Was there another question?
Yeah, we have to set up our payment first before we get the Dropbox folder.
So no, actually, I'm going to start sending out the Dropbox folders. Oh, there we go. It's getting kind of hot in here. All right, so we'll let the cold air come into the door. The question was, do you have to pay first? Ideally, but I want people to really, have access to it. The payment process was really easy. When I made the tutorial for the payments, I actually made my own personal payment. I just paid myself accidentally, but it was super easy. So actually, I wanted to show you here, right here, making a payment. So up in this bar, you see you're going to get, and I'll do this after the webinar. I'm going to follow it up with your direct payment invoice and your Modi introduction email. So this is what it's going to look like when you get for making a payment. Vision Media Pro via our FreshBooks, which is what we use for payment software. Vision Media Pro, and then as you open the email, it's going to say this: Vision Media Pro sent you an invoice for $99. That's due on, ignore this. What we're going to do is it's going to be due the date that we send the invoice, which would be today. And we've set it to reoccur, but I'm going to go through this process one more time. I know I did it. Do you have a question?
Well, do you want to finish your thought, or do you want the, is it possible to share our Google Drive folder instead of Dropbox just in case we hate Dropbox?
I would say I'm sorry. We tried with Google Drive, but Google Drive had problems that Dropbox didn't.
Dropbox is extremely user friendly.
Yeah, Google Drive was our first pick, and it didn't work out so good. So, there's a question about receiving payment first. Ideally, but you guys are beta test, and so I want you guys. I don't want it to feel like I'm. It's a shakedown right now. So anyway, so I sent you right here. You're gonna click View and Pay Invoice. It's gonna open you up. This is just a generic invoice. Basically, this is what it's gonna look like when you get it, and it's going to give you an option to pay now. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the payment due on the day that you receive it, and then we've set it to reoccur, but it's because we don't have authorization to withdraw from your account until you actually authorize it. So what it does is if you click pay now. Oh, one other thing was I did have to mention this. There is, and this is more so just a safeguard for us. There's a 30-day $30 late fee. And so if 30 days expires after the invoice has been sent, you'll get charged $30. So that's just kind of something to make sure that when you do pay now, that you don't pay this invoice manually. Let it go automatically, pay this invoice every month. So you click continue, you enter your credit card information, pay. So I feel like that's pretty straightforward. Does anybody else have any questions?
I mean, just again, you guys are the beta test group. So there are things that are going to be changing in the future, but we're just trying to get the best system.
You guys seem pretty gung ho about paying first. So sure, I'll send the invoice first.
They're so excited. So get them on board.
Honestly, I think this is super exciting. I was looking around to try and find if there's anybody doing this right now, and I'm sure that there are people. There's always people doing what you plan on doing, but I couldn't find anything actually. So the idea is for you to use this for social media, as Philip was talking about, consistently posting. There is an application for if you did want to hire Vision Media Pro to create, where we come in with our own cameras and we film a, high quality video, do all the editing and everything like that. There's an application for that too. But this is the idea for this is for social media platforms, and making something that actually could pass as quality video. It's up to you guys to shoot it. So we're going to do our part. All right. So we're over on time. It's 6:32. Are there any other questions?
I think in the future, we can also be hosting webinars to address any issues that may come up during this whole process.
Yeah.
And those can be requested as well from you guys, and we can set dates and things like that going forward to try to smooth out all the kinks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So we got a good job there. Good. Thank you.
Nice to have the support.
Yeah, there we go.
The love. All right.
All right. Well, I'm a little hesitant to end this in case somebody didn't have a chance to go ahead and ask a question, but we'll leave it up for a little longer, and
well, they have our phone number, so
yeah, you guys got the phone number.
Give us a call,
you have the email.
Facebook is going live soon. I mean, if you guys want to as well to stay up on what we're doing, you can go ahead and check us out on Facebook. Is Instagram up yet as well with the Modi? We're still figuring all that out.
Yeah, but that's one thing that we've got to mention is Instagram stories, but we talked about that in the welcome video. So, okay.
Give priority to invest. we'll see how it goes, right?
We actually did talk about something like that, like rewarding beta testers somehow.
I think we settled on gift cards, right?
we'll figure something out.
So we'll see. Yeah, right. I'm sure everybody's on board with that. I think we're going to give like 50% away to all the beta testers.
Our valuation is in the billions.
So stay tuned for that.
I'm just joking.
Shark Tank coming up. What else?
Anyways.
All right.
Thank you guys again for your time.
So
we really appreciate all of you. And I think we're going to go places together. So, all right.
All right.
We'll get these emails out to you ASAP.
See you later.
Take care. And